Hey guys, it's Kevin Ansmer for UnREAL Season 1, Episode 5, Truth. And I know that it seemed like I didn't really enjoy last week's episode. I really did. I don't know. Whatever happened, I just wasn't really into it last week. I don't know. I don't know. I just really wasn't into it. I wasn't focusing as much. I don't know. However, this week's episode, that is how you write an episode of TV. Oh my god, this was by far the best episode of the season. We are now at the halfway point of the season, and this show did what a show should do at the halfway point of the season. Further deepen the characters. I love the way this show just deepened these characters. I mean, this was a really emotional episode. Honestly, guys, this was really emotional. There was a moment in this episode where it was really intense as well, and I just loved everything about this episode. And it amazes me how far this show can go, like how deep this show can get, how intense this show can get. A show about making reality TV is this crazy. It's insane, honestly, how well they are doing with this. And let me just get into it because a lot happened in this episode. There's a lot to talk about, and I really want to talk about it. So we start off once again with us seeing Everlasting. Graham talks about how people think it's old to ask a girl's family for a hand in marriage, but that is not the case for Everlasting. So then we see in her trailer, Rachel's watching porn, and she's pleasuring herself with a vibrator since I know people are going to be like, why the fuck did we see this? To me, this just showed how lonely Rachel is, because this whole episode, it really just shows how Rachel's just lonely. She doesn't have many friends. She's pretty much on her own. I mean, and it really is sad. This is one of those scenes that really shows that, she's that lonely that she's sitting in her trailer just pleasuring herself. That's how bored and lonely she is. I mean, think about it. It's a very demanding job that she doesn't get to go home. She has to stay in that trailer, and when she's not doing the show, she has to occupy herself. And if, she has to do some weird shit to pleasure herself, basically, if she is to pleasure herself to occupy herself, then so be it. Really, there's nothing she can do about that. So Graham tells the ladies that in the spirit of true courtship, Adam will be going home with one lucky lady to meet her family in hopes of taking it to the next level, and Adam tells them he wishes he could go home with each and every one of them, but he plans on taking the step with someone he wants to know very well, who has definitely piqued his curiosity, and that person is Faith. And this episode, we really get into Faith's character more, and I absolutely love that. I thought that was awesome. Quinn's in the production room and watched the show, and she's very happy with Adam's choice, and she tells Rachel nice job and asks how she got Adam to pick Faith, and she says it was all reverse psychology, and she told him to cut Faith so he would pick her, which honestly was a very good thing that she did there. So Quinn says, who knew she would be a favorite, because Faith is basically a crowd favorite. Everyone really loves Faith, and she asks what they plan on doing for this. Rachel brings up something about a rodeo, but Quinn's more concerned about Faith losing her virginity, because as we know, Faith is a virgin, and Quinn feels like now would be the perfect opportunity for Faith to have sex, and I do see where Quinn's coming from. I mean, she's her favorite. That's probably something that the fans want to see, and I can understand why Quinn wants that. So, but Rachel says she hasn't really admitted that she was a virgin yet. So, if Faith's not a virgin, that could be horrible for them. So Quinn says she needs to get her to and tell her it's 10K if she can do it. And Graham tells the rest of the ladies that they will be making video invitations as to why they should meet their family. So Quinn, meanwhile, is very creeped out by Mary's smile. Now, this was a character that we haven't seen a lot of, honestly. The most we've gotten of Mary is that she was this single mother who's on the show and doesn't seem comfortable. That's really the only reason why. That's really the only stuff we've gotten from her. And I love that we found out so much more about Mary in this episode. All that stuff with us not knowing about Mary, it all makes sense now why we didn't know that. Now, this character, her name is Grace, but we already have a character named Grace. And when I think of Grace, I think of the really slutty, bitchy, contestant on Everlasting that hates, that, insulted Anna and everything. So I'm going to call her Waggerstein, because I don't want to get the two confused. I want you guys to get confused. So Waggerstein basically tells them that Mary is bipolar, and she suffers from PTSD from the domestic abuse, and that I thought was really interesting. So Shia wants to look more into this, and I'm so glad that Shia is back. I really felt like her presence was missed in the last episode. One of the best parts of the show by far is seeing Shia manipulate these people, having to come out with these revelations. It's really hard stuff to watch. But Quinn says she needs to work on the video invitations, and Jay says he can cover Rachel's girls while she's gone. And Wagerstein then tells Rachel that she's worried about her, and she asks why. And she says she's supposed to go on her first overnight trip with Jeremy, and she tells her she just wants her to be careful, try and prevent what happened the last time. Now, you can pretty much tell that definitely something happened between Rachel and Jeremy the last time. I was pretty sure that they had sex or whatever. And we do find out what happened with them in this episode. And basically, she also tells her to stay away from the booze on the road because she knows it makes her horny. And she thanks her and goes off with Adam. And I thought that was a really good scene. I like that they do have this therapist there because honestly, with their job, I can understand why they need this therapist there. I mean, it is pretty pathetic, but the job they have is a really crazy job, and especially for Rachel, I like that Wagerstein is there for them. So Rachel tells Adam to walk her through on why he did the opposite of what she asked him to do, and he tells her he's not her puppet, which I like that Adam said that, because you know what? Yeah, it's true, he's not her puppet, he can make his own decisions, and I really like that. So Jeremy tells her this is going to be a fun weekend, and she should try not to fight with her boyfriend the whole time. Definitely they're trying to get these two together. You can just tell that they are trying to get us to want these two together. I honestly would like Adam and Rachel together. I think that they're really good together, and the way they show in this episode, I wasn't really sure what they were trying to do last episode, if they were trying to get us to see them as friends. Here, definitely they are trying to get us to want them together, and I'm all for it, really. I like these two. So Faith gets on his back and tells him how happy she is that he picked her. Rachel interrupts and goes to have a conversation with Faith, and this is when Rachel says that she's not supposed to be telling her this, but the audience sees a lot of heat between her and Adam, and she says that's why he asked her on this date, and she tells her it may be time for her to lose her virginity, and Faith says she can't, but Rachel tries to convince her, and I like what Rachel says, he's a guy that really cares about her, and that she should at least try, and she says she came here to try new things, but Faith says she will think about it, and she says she thinks Adam has been connected with her since day one, and if she were her, she'd let Adam take her flowers, so I thought that was definitely very interesting. So Faith goes to her hometown with Adam and hugs her family. They all meet Adam, and she introduces Adam to her best friend, Amy, who is very, very important in this episode. She thanks Amy for helping her grandmother, and they all head inside. And then we see Mary, and she's shocked that she's still here. She doesn't understand it. She says she's too old for this, and Shia says she's acting old and tries to encourage her. Because, of course, Shia knows what's going on with her, so she's trying to get Mary to just come out and say what happened to her, because she's obviously not admitting it. And I actually really like that about Shia and Quinn in this episode. While Shia and Quinn will do these really bad things, and, while they have to do some really evil things, they are doing some things with very good intentions. I mean, a lot of this show is, revelations, and I thought that was really well done here. So Rachel goes inside Faith's bedroom and sees all these pictures of her and Amy, and then observes Amy and Faith. They're definitely arguing over something really intense, and we don't know what it is, so I thought that was really interesting. So Mary asks Shia if they're done having this interview, and Shia says she noticed she hasn't been drinking, and she tells her she doesn't drink. She says she should try to make an exception. She knows there's another Mary in there. There's another Mary in there. The real Mary, they have to find her and let her shine, or she will get dunked on national television. And basically, Mary tells her to get her hands off of her and walks away. You can tell that Mary just doesn't want to admit what happened to her. And it's understandable why she doesn't want to say, straight out what happened to her. I mean, it's not easy for someone to say, oh, I was abused. It's just not easy for someone to come out and say that. So I can understand why Mary is struggling with this. But she needs to admit what happened to her. She just has to, honestly. She has to. So Bill and his lawyer come to talk to Quinn, and the lawyer says he would like them to know what him wearing a suit entails, and she says they're not his clients yet. She says she doesn't want to get the cancer people get from getting bitter, and she's not going to let Chet take credit for her idea. Because, of course, you remember Chet was basically trying to prove that he made Everlasting and not Quinn, and tells him that they should sue him. And I thought that was really interesting. Now, in production, both of Mary's cameras go out, and Shia snoops around, hoping to find more on her, trying to figure out what to do to just get her to admit, the truth. And the lawyer's surprised that they don't have more paperwork, and he says it doesn't prove that that the show was made by Quinn. All it proves is that she developed something possibly with Chet, and he's not going to sue him for that. So they're basically ready to give up. They pretty much think they failed, but he asks her if her and Chet have more than just a professional level, implying that they may have a way to make a case, which this I thought was really interesting. So, Shia messes with Mary's stuff. She basically just messes with, like, her pills and, like, you don't need to do that. Like, Quinn didn't ask her to do that. That's just taking it a bit too far. That's something that I don't even think Rachel would do. That's something that I don't even think Quinn would have told her to do that. Like, that's insane that she did that. And that could have really serious consequences for what Shia did. And I really don't know what's going to happen there. So Rachel asks Faith to tell about her physical relationship with Adam, and she says it's been hot and sexy, and they held hands on the way there. She does admit it's weird that she hasn't kissed him yet. She's going to spend the night with him. And she says she seems uncomfortable, and she says she's fine. She says she saw her and Amy talking, and it looked pretty intense. And basically, we find out that Amy doesn't think that sex should be talked about on TV. It should be two married people under the hand of God only, and she said it doesn't leave a lot of room for her exploring new options. And, she's disagreeing, and Rachel says she thinks Amy is the most important person to her, but Faith tells her to stop. She's in love with Adam, and she's going to let him take her virginity. Now, you can definitely tell that Faith is hiding something. I mean, that seemed just like Faith is hiding something. I mean, the way she was so abrupt with that, she never said that she was in love with Adam. Just in that second, she's like, oh, I'm in love with Adam. That doesn't seem real. Like, she definitely is hiding something, and I could tell she definitely was when she said that. So, Adam and Faith discuss more about her farm, which the whole town pitched, and in the middle of talking, she just starts making out with him, and basically she says she's sorry, and she missed him, that she's a virgin, and would like him to be her first. She said it's an honor, and she agrees. She excuses herself and basically tells her to wait, and Adam's pissed at Rachel for doing this, because, and that's understandable, I mean, why would you want to do this? And she says it's a good idea. So Quinn goes with her lawyer to talk to Chet, who's with his lawyer, and I'm gonna say right now, like, they've been portraying Chet as this guy that truly does care about Quinn. I think he does, but Chet's an asshole. I'm sorry. Chet is an absolute asshole for what he did, and he really is. He's an asshole. Really, he is. And Chet's lawyer asks if she's saying that Quinn is Chet's mistress, and he says it's more for a long affair with promises made that weren't fulfilled, and Quinn took down job offers and marriage proposals because of those promises, and now she's wanting, recompense based on a 40% stake in Everlasting. So he shows evidence to prove that he's telling the truth, and Faith then tells Rachel that it was really awkward to kiss Adam. Rachel asks if she ever kissed anyone for real, and she says Amy and her practiced at camp, and Rachel asks if she ever thought her and Amy may be in love, and because, she talks about Amy a lot, and she doesn't talk about Amy like she's her friend. She talks about her like she's in love with her. And Faith thinks this is disgusting, and she said it's beautiful. And you can definitely tell that Faith is basically a lesbian. She's hiding her sexuality, which I thought was really interesting. So, Chet's lawyer looks at everything she's suing him for. Chet's lawyer says that based on all this, he thinks she's stalking Chet, and they have warrants for a restraining order, so if he's prepared to file today, so basically, that I thought was really big. That basically Quinn was just losing, so much in this case. So Faith says she and Amy have had unholy thoughts, but they never acted on them. And Rachel asks why she came to Everlasting if she was confused. And she says she thought she would go off to Hollywood and she could be with Adam and everything would be fixed. And she says she doesn't need any fixing. I thought it was really sweet. Something I love is how, Rachel tries to be a friend to all these girls. Something I thought was really well done. So she says guys are going to destroy her for loving Amy, and her family will disown her, and her church will kick her out. But she says she shouldn't say it. She should say it out loud one time and see if God strikes her down. And she starts crying. She doesn't think she can do it. And she goes back to Adam, and she tells him she's not attracted to him, and she's attracted to her friend Amy. And she starts laughing, and she just feels so overjoyed that she finally admits it. And I felt so happy that she admitted there. And Adam tells her to be her, and Shia asks Quinn then about the video invites, and Quinn's upset because Chet is basically screwing her over, trying to say that she stalked him and she's suing him because she created Everlasting was all her idea. And I really like how we got in this, because honestly, yeah, it was her idea, and however, they're throwing her case out, and I like what Shia said, that she doesn't need lawyers to produce Chet, make him want to jump off a bridge, basically show Chet how much she cares about him, and then he won't try to sue her. So she asks what she wanted, and she tells her about Mary, but she says she'll go talk to her, and that basically is what Quinn goes to do. So Rachel tells Jeremy he needs to pull out the coming out bit because she promised Faith that she wouldn't show it, but unfortunately it's not possible because basically if she wanted to shoot something that they didn't shoot for the show, they would have had to use a different camera, and basically everything on that footage they have to use. So she calls Jay and asks him if he remembers coming out to his parents, and that I thought was really interesting. So Quinn introduces herself to Mary and asks her why she agreed to do this show, and she says she wanted to start over and put herself out there and broaden her horizons, and she says it makes her so sad because she can see that something or someone made her scared of her own power, and she asks if someone scared her. She says she needs to burn it down because she does not want to find herself another 8 years down the road being honest about what she really wants. She says either ball up and give a shit or pack her bags right now. And what Quinn said, I honestly do agree with. I mean, when you want to be true, how can you not be true to yourself? If you're on this show and you want to be with this guy, you have to be honest and you have to tell the truth. And I like that Quinn said that to her because honestly, if she's not going to be honest, she can get the fuck out of there. There's no reason for her not to be, and she needs to be honest. I thought it was really great advice that Quinn gave. I mean, as harsh as it was, Quinn definitely had some really good points there, and I do agree with what she's saying. So I thought that was really good. So Rachel tells Jeremy and Adam that Faith coming out could change everything and change lives. It's a huge platform. It's basically why she wanted to get in TV in the first place. And Adam said it's a good thing to do, and Faith goes up to them and tells her she wants to quit the show and be with Amy right then and there. She says she also wants to tell the church tomorrow so her congregation knows that God cherishes all of his children. And Rachel tells her it's this huge step, and she says if she can show her grandmother, then she can have friends and love, and it'll soften the blow. And she agrees to it and says she will see if she can find some money for her and Amy to get settled. But Faith says she's staying in her hometown to let them all believe. And you guys have to, some people were asking, well, why would this be an issue with the whole gay rights thing? This was before they passed that whole thing. The whole gay rights thing was passed. This was before they passed that. So basically, when this takes place, this was before they passed that whole thing. So it really shows, it does show how different people are when it comes to gays and lesbians. I thought that was really interesting the way the episode portrayed that. So Rachel talks to her grandmother, and her grandmother basically says that she wants to see Faith married, and Amy goes up to Rachel to talk to her, and she tells her, well, Faith is ready, she's really not, and she says the world has changed, and she says it's really different than than it is in Hollywood. They're not really accepting there, and I thought that was really interesting. So Faith makes this speech to all of them. You're not really sure what she's going to say. You don't have, she's pretty sure that she's going to come out here, and thanks them for all the love and support they've given her. She says she has to tell them something that hopefully doesn't change, that she's about to tell them, and basically she's about to tell them what happens, but Rachel sends Adam because she knows, that Amy's not ready. So Adam comes up and asks her if she'll continue this journey with him for another week and agrees to it, and I thought that was a really sweet thing that Adam did there. Definitely really like that. And Rachel calls Jay and tells him whatever he does, he needs to kill the footage. He needs to basically, she's not kidding, she'll take the heat for it. And I thought that was really great that she did that because she made that promise to Faith, and she needs to keep that promise. I thought that was really good that she did that, and I like that she kept that promise to Faith. So Jeremy asks what they're going to tell Quinn since they don't have any story, but she says they won't now. Sorry, guys. Hang on one second. Sorry, that's some alarm I have set up. Ignore that. Basically, though, that I thought was really interesting. So, production then starts on Mary's video, and she tells them to throw away the cue card. She's got a new script, and she's going to come clean now. She's finally going to tell the truth. And Rachel decides to make it seem like Faith and Adam did have sex, and Amy says it's okay with her. I thought it was really sweet that Rachel did this. She's good with her, but she's got to give her some time because, Amy's still processing this whole her being gay and everything. She still doesn't fully understand it, and I like seeing that. So, basically, Faith then kisses her, and Adam and Faith go to shoot the footage. Jeremy offers Rachel some booze, but she refuses, and he's surprised at how selfless she has become. And she says it feels weird to cover it up, but he says it's better than outing her, and she's gonna thank her one day for it. And he asks her when she left, where she disappeared to. Now, we do find out here that they definitely slept together in, Mexico, and she says she didn't leave the house at all. She was just depressed, and she didn't call me because of that. he asks if it's all because of Mexico and they slept together, and she says it's not. It's because she doesn't do well with happiness. It's very unfamiliar, and it's kind of terrifying her, and that's understandable. Rachel doesn't have many happy things in her life, so you can understand why she doesn't like happiness. I mean, he asks why she came back, and she says she came back to see him, and he kisses her, and they start to take each other's clothes off, but he tells her he can't do it because he knows how things start with her and how it ends, and basically that I thought was a really interesting scene because I thought they were gonna have sex, but they didn't, and that was definitely very interesting. So Chet comes in with his lawyer, asks what the hell he's doing there, because he pretty much thinks that he was gonna get, she was gonna sue him and everything. But Quinn's lawyer says that there's one more piece of evidence that she wants to present, even though he advised her not to, and it's this sculpture that he made for her, and he basically tells both lawyers to leave, and he's touched because she kept it after all these years, and the only reason she kept it is because it was the only time that he told her he loved her, and he says he's really sorry about that, and he tells the lawyers he agrees to 40% everlasting, and Mrs. the Show was her idea, and you know what, again, Chet's a dick, he really is, but I do think no matter what, he does care about Quinn, and I thought that was really sweet. I love that, and I thought that was very well done. So, back on Everlasting, Graham tells Adam he has one video invitation left, and it's Mary's, and this scene was amazing. Whoever plays Mary, amazing performance here. She says up until this morning she thought she would be going home this week, and she says he can't pick her if he doesn't know who she is. She admits she was in an abusive relationship, and she knows she didn't look the part, neither did he, but behind closed doors was brutal, and he broke her daughter's arm, threatened to kill her. She says she told the police and her family she would do anything to protect her daughter. She says he can either send her home so she can be with her daughter or pick her so he can meet her. And he tells her basically her story moved and impressed him. He would love to meet her daughter, and that was a really sweet moment. I mean, you just feel so happy for Mary after what Quinn told her to do. I mean, it took a lot of guts to do that, and I was very happy that Mary did that. So Jay tells Rachel that because Chet was so pushy and since there was no drama, he watched the vlogs from the faith trip. They go in, and this scene was so intense. I don't know what was going to happen here. I don't know if someone was going to get fired. I mean, this scene was amazing. Really, it was. And basically, they go to talk to him. He says there's no need since Jay brought him. He says it's so weird and good. And basically, he's going to do the story on Faith being a lesbian. And Graham's getting ready to announce, next week's episode. But Rachel stops him. She says she wants to stop the story because there was a better story. She tells him that she lost her, basically that Faith lost her virginity to Adam. And she tells him outing her would ruin her life. And he can't use the footage. And she agreed she wouldn't. And she agreed that she wouldn't use it, and she has no right to do, and that he owns everything, then she's just day labor. And Adam asks to talk to Chet. He can tell that Rachel's not getting through to him. Rachel's not going to get through to him, but Adam might. And basically tells him he agrees with him, but he's got something he might enjoy more. So Jay tells Rachel that basically Faith's going to have to come out sometime. She says, press stop doing that. He says, their show's like I do agree what Jay says here, that their show's like a mirror. It helps people with the truth, and you can definitely see that with, like, Mary, definitely, and Anna as well, just these different characters, that is true. And he says Chet said he would hook him up if he did something big. He says he had to find a way out somehow, and she says there were a few things he said he wouldn't do. He said she did too, and she says they're not talking about her, they're talking about people they can still save, and Jay, honestly, I'm not upset that Rachel's pissed at Jay. I mean, honestly, he did a really bad thing, and I was really pissed that Jay did that, so that friendship's over, definitely. I thought that was really sad to see, but you know what, Jay? I mean, I understand Jay wanted to do this for money, but you think that Jay would have had a little bit more compassion and maybe would have protected Faith, but what the fuck, Jay? Like, seriously, that was not a good move. So Quinn tells Rachel to get over, see next week's promo after some convincing, and she sees that basically Adam has this sex tape that has been leaked, and he's decided to show the woman he's currently is courting. He's serious about putting his past behind him, finding true love, and Quinn wonders why Adam did this, and I thought it was really sweet that Adam did that, to help out Faith, and Rachel goes to him, thanks him for what he did. He gives her the tape. He says it's great for ratings. She asks if it was Pippa. He says it's a lot of his face and blurry bits that might not actually be her, but sell the story once, and they're good, and she says she's impressed, and he says he did it to protect Faith. She asks him if they're friends, and he says he guesses they are. She says she doesn't know how this happened, but in this moment, he's her only friend. It's a really sad moment because honestly, you start to realize after the whole thing with Jay, Rachel really has no one except Adam. And I mean, Jeremy forgot about her, and just everyone's just bailing on Rachel. It's understandable why. I mean, how can you really trust her after what she did? But he goes in for a kiss, and you can tell that he wants to take things further. He wants to be more than friends with her, but she tells him not to break it, and she tells him to get some rest, and she doesn't want to break the friendship. You know, she wants to keep it as a friendship, and she goes back to her trailer. She watched a video of her and Jeremy in Mexico, and again is pleasuring herself. Pretty much to me, that was just her wishing that this life she could have had with him, the sex she could have had with him, and just the overall just different life she could have had things, you know, had she not reacted differently. It was really sad to see, and I thought that was definitely very bad for her. So Mary sits in her dressing room, looks at herself. She says she still got it, and everyone else should beware. And I thought that was a great way to end the episode. You see how confident Mary is, and that basically is how the episode ends. So overall, guys, an amazing episode. A lot to talk about, definitely. Definitely, I think next week we're going to see more of Mary and Adam going to her hometown. I do think that's going to happen. I really like this storyline with Faith, I have to say. I definitely feel like the whole thing with Adam's sex tape, that definitely is going to happen. You know, that definitely is going to happen next episode. I don't know if it's going to happen next episode, but they're definitely going to bring that up again in a future episode. I don't really know when, but they're definitely not going to forget about that. That's something that I think is definitely going to be important. We'll have to see what happens there, though. Let's talk about the whole thing going on with Rachel. I mean, Rachel pretty much is all alone now. Her and Jeremy, I don't think they're going to get together, but you can tell that Adam really wants to be with Rachel. Does Rachel really want to be with Adam? I don't know if she sees this as friends, or you can tell she wants to take it further, but for right now, she just needs a friend, and that's understandable why. I mean, she has a really demanding job, and she's all alone. Really, the only person she has is Adam, and I thought that was really great that she realized that in this episode. Quinn, I like that Quinn told Shia that she does genuinely, you know, that she does love him, and I think he does love her as well. So I like that they made that agreement, and I definitely feel like they are going to get closer, and they are going to get back together, but we'll have to see what happens there. You know, the whole thing with the affair, are they going to continue it? I definitely feel like Quinn is going to think maybe she should, maybe she shouldn't. I definitely feel like she'll be torn on what to do with that, but we'll have to see where that goes, because I think is definitely very interesting what's going to happen with that whole storyline. Faith. The whole thing with Faith and her coming out, is she actually going to leave the show? I'm not really sure. Definitely, I think this is going to get brought up again. I like seeing the storyline of Faith. This is definitely very interesting what's going on there. I like what we're seeing there with Faith and Amy. I definitely feel like Amy's going to become more accepting. I definitely am looking forward to seeing how that storyline progresses, because I really do like that storyline. This whole thing with Mary as well, I mean, I can't wait to see how that turns out, because I really do like Mary as a character now. I think she's a very good character, and I like the way they deep into her character. Just something in general I love about the show, just the way they make you care about the characters more. I mean, I care about all these characters even more than I did. I care about Mary so much more. I care about Faith so much more. I care even more about Rachel more, because now we're starting to see more of Rachel. I mean, she's not this bad person. She just doesn't want really happiness in her life because she's not used to it, and she's had so much heartbreak and, you know, really bad shit that she's just not really used to, and I really did like that. And also Jay, is Jay gonna get back Rachel's trust? I don't think he can. After what he did, there's really no way that's gonna happen. We'll have to see what happens there. Is Adam's story gonna be successful? I'm pretty sure it will. We'll have to see what happens with that whole storyline. But that's basically my review. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you guys saw this episode. Overall, guys, by far best episode of the season. Absolutely love this episode. I can't wait for next week's episode. I will see you guys in my next video, which will be for another classic mirror review, and I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.